There then is the funny story where, a little bit of Twitter did go against Blizzard, I think for pretty good reason. So, of course, you remember those Torghast stories?
Yeah.
It sucked because you just did a generic enough Torghast run. And you met a character and you saved them and maybe you get a cutscene. And you had to do all of that to unlock Twisting Corridors. Well, they removed all those requirements in patch 9.1, which was generally a very good move because it was very annoying. A lot of people really hated that with like alts and stuff. But they actually ended up removing all of the story from the game too. Which basically now means that, if you're not the sort of player who's living in Wowhead and stuff like that, you're just going to be like, why is Anduin evil? And with the Archon now, I'm confused whenever that happens. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fair to say it's like, imagine if the FF14 MSQ just skipped like 3 or 4 quests of key cutscenes, such you'd be completely confused because they are different games with different like goals at endgame. But in a world where Blizzard are so serious about their narrative, seemingly, does feel odd.
Yeah.
They kind of did it that way. Like there is the whole thing where, is it Janus says, oh, another Maw Walker saved them.
Yeah,
Or
which
whatever.
completely destroys.
Not destroy shit. Yeah. So basically, it's very messy, and it does just mean if you're coming here as a new player, like it's literally impossible to get the story from the game. That said, we all got that story from YouTube anyway, didn't we?
Yeah.
I watched the Wowheads repost of the cutscene. I'll admit it.
Yeah. The thing that irks me about it the most is that it seems like it just kind of happened and they had no way to solve it. They just had to take the L of removing it to make the gameplay experience better, which really makes me think how rushed this expansion generally feels overall.
Yeah.
In how it's structured, where they clearly didn't, either they didn't because they just didn't and they didn't do their job properly, be that because they were incapable, or more likely because they just had to go, get this thing ready. Oh shit, we need a delay. Oh shit, get it ready, go fast. It's just a case of like, how do you not think about the experience that all the average players are going to have when you're designing your story this way? And it feels like they were under severe amounts of duress in order to actually get this out this way with these, okay, we will concede and try to make this a better experience, but we can't do it without throwing a lot of the story of this in the bin.
Yeah.
It just feels so... It feels so messy. I struggle to find a better word for it other than just it's a messy solution to a messy problem.
I think ultimately we've got a news video coming out going through a lot of this tomorrow, but they shouldn't have tied like that key narrative to some of the most boring quests. Like just that. I think they really need to just chart an MSQ through the patches like FF14 does and just have that be their A plot. So they can just be confident that like they'll always have a solid, easy to follow A plot through all of their expansions and all of their content. Because that's going to be way better for the average like user's experience and ability to grapple with the lore. And some people may say that's not important, but like Blizzard really does seem to take their lore quite seriously these days.
Yeah,
They really do. Whenever they talk about Zoval, it's like he is the most epic villain ever to be created. So, the only way people are going to feel that is if you actually tell the story in game and tell it well. And right now is like, man, they're just not set up. Then as is also pointed out, in Porter Gage here, like the Battle for Undercity, like, man, doing the Battle for Undercity was so cool. So cool after Wrathgate. And for that to not be there.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's very odd.
It's one of those things where I think they get really wrong designing for the future. And I think like some of that might be due to inexperience at that point where they did just go, new thing, cool, let's go. But the fact that they had to throw it out, they really should have stopped and went, shit, hang on. What are we losing here? We should think about the principle of this and then maybe adjust what they're doing overall.
Yeah.
But I think it's just people didn't care at the time. People didn't mind. They're like, oh yeah, we've done that. We don't mind. Just
the legendary quests.
Yeah.
And that's like the legendary quests in some cases, like for those 2 expansions, they were a bit of your sort of MSQ.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah, I absolutely I did it a couple times. I loved the Rathion stuff in Mists. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And now
gone.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. And there's a way where they could have formed these into little campaigns and just made them be a thing you can do, but yeah, so they should definitely consider that for the future. I'm glad this is being brought up and this sort of thing is actually just being taken seriously by people,
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.